All right, now I'm happy to talk a little more NFL draft with one of the prop masters at mybookie.com and Doc Sports, Mr. Raphael Esparza. Raph, man, the draft is here. How are things going?
Is it over yet? Not this draft is here. How about is it over yet? But you know what? I love how all these gamblers and handicappers and all that just start just throwing money at the NFL draft. And I told you before we jumped on the air, most books lose in the NFL draft. It's not a cash cow. Mostly, we're just trying to not lose our shirt. And hopefully you get that money back when people bet baseball, Champions League soccer, preseason football, maybe the USFL. Maybe they'll use that money that they're going to win on the NFL draft for that. But it should be interesting. I miss the days when I was handicapping how many dogs would be on TV, but during a COVID draft, I miss those kind of days. But hopefully we won't lose our shirt as much this week. I'm hoping for some big trades and some movement. I think that's what happens. Last couple of years, nothing really big movement going on. So hopefully we'll have some controversy and chaos that will maybe shake up mock drafts, and we won't lose our shirt.
Lots of mock drafts out there. Everyone has one, and I gotta tell you, man. If I'm a GM, I am purposely doing what the Niners did. Yeah, I am giving out wrong information. You know why? Because I get sick of people bugging me about it. Probably, even if I'm the first pick, I'm like, you guys don't need to know. Plus, I might get to somehow give a little bit better of a contract, maybe. You know, if I'm a top 5 guy and I'm not telling you what I want to do. I don't know.
I would leak out that we're looking at maybe Debo for Baker during draft. I would leak out some.
Yeah, leak out some BS. Have some fun with it, man. I don't know. But the truth is, I mean, this draft, funny enough, people said so many people stayed because of COVID in college that this would be some sort of massive draft. It's not really feeling like that. The players don't seem all that, I guess, rated. I personally couldn't rate them any higher than other drafts, especially the quarterbacks. I tried to like the quarterbacks because I'm a contrarian personality. Like, I really tried to find a reason to. I couldn't. But to be honest with you, the defensive ends, there's 3 or 4 of them that are fine for me.
Yeah.
I'd take any of them. I don't think one's better than the other, Ralph.
No, I mean it's very interesting, and I saw this today. I can't remember who put it up, but since the market opened up the draft odds, I think it was sometime in May, middle of May, and all that. These have been the number one projected number 1 pick: QB Sam Howell, QB Spencer Rattler, third row from Oregon, Hutchinson, Evan Neal, now Trevin Walker. I mean, it's been crazy. Now, of course, Walker is anywhere between minus 180. I think I see as high as minus 250 in some shops. The kid from Georgia. So it's going to be very interesting to see. I'm hoping it's a big trade, and like the Bears did when they got drafted that horrible quarterback. I won't mention since you're a Bears fan. And someone gets drafted number 1 that just completely out of the blue.
My listeners will turn me off if I rat on the Bears any more than I did already earlier. So, I mean, even last year's quarterbacks, they had bad coaches. I mean, and that's what's also hurting this draft. People just see what they did, and you understand Urban Meyer's just not an NFL coach, and Matt Nagy was not a good coach. Mac Jones had the best coach, and he became the best quarterback of the bunch. Zach Wilson had a defensive coach, really. Still all the jury is out on these quarterbacks from last year. So the one thing I don't have to worry about is the Bears screwing up their first round draft pick, Raph, because they don't have one.
They don't have one. I think that's what probably thing that's intriguing for me, which again, I'm not the biggest NFL draft guy, but I'm really curious what Malik Willis is going to. I bet a couple of props with him over 10.5. He gets selected. I still think Pittsburgh, and I still think maybe the Saints grab him. I don't know if they're going to trade for him or if he's going to be out there. I would not be shocked if those two teams land Willis, Steelers or the Saints. If not, if the Saints don't get him, I think they'll probably look for maybe Sam Howell or Corral down in the second or third rounds. But I would not be shocked if we see Willis holding up a Steeler jersey in one hand and a yellow towel in the other.
Well, there you go. You bet the over, and he's slated to pick first, minus 190 in a lot of these books, but I don't necessarily believe that. I mean, he's raw. He's the Liberty guy. I mean, he didn't have the greatest pro day. I think that, you got Kenny Pickett there that was a winner, and Desmond Ritter that was really a winner, but it was for Cincinnati. Matt Corral, that was the favorite beforehand, and Sam Howell. It's just, there's nobody that sticks out to me. And maybe Carolina does take Malik Willis, but I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think he's saving anyone's job, Raph.
No. Well, that's why I think if this Pittsburgh gets Willis, they can still shove in your former, but hey, I keep on bringing up Bears quarterbacks, but they can plug in former Bears quarterback and have Willis sit out for a year and get gelled, where they don't have to force him out there to be the starter. I think if Carolina drafts him, I think they're going to force him out there, or a battle of Sam Donald and stuff like that. I just think the situation, I think Pittsburgh is a right situation for that young talent that I think Willis can be. I'm not saying he's going to be an NFL Hall of Famer quarterback, but I just think the situation, I think, will fit well for Pittsburgh.
All right. Well, maybe so, especially if you have someone that would look good at least for a while. And Mitch did look good when he was not on the Bears. So that's definitely a big thing. And they picked Mason Rudolph pretty high. I think it was the second round. It was a while back now, because we thought Big Ben was going to retire a lot longer ago than now. But they're blessed with riches, even with the tragedy of poor Dwayne Haskins. So they still have a couple quarterbacks there. It's just, I don't know. I think they can wait too, personally, but we'll see what happens. Sounds like your first play is Malik Willis over. Is that plus money now?
I do believe so. I haven't checked it. Actually, my first NFL draft bet this year was total wide receivers drafted in the first round over 5.5. When the juice was like, I think I got it minus 170, minus 175. Now I think it's minus $3. I just think the way the league is going, more offense and stuff like that, I just thought the wide receivers are going to be picked really, really quickly, really, really often. So that was my first NFL. I didn't play that many, but that's the one I like. I thought minus $2. I thought it was a steal. I thought it should have been like $4.
I think you're right too. My mock draft, and obviously it's just a mock, who cares? I have 7, and GMs seem to love receivers in the first round. They can't get away from them. And even though I always disagree with picking them, it always goes over, it seems. So I definitely can't disagree with you there. I actually personally took the running backs under, and
that's a good one.
I don't, and it was 0.5, but when they're all bunched up like that, it's the same deal as tight ends. It's like tight ends are bunched up and they're minus 700. And why would they be minus 700 and the running back's only minus 190? So I took the running backs under at minus 190.5, and I like that one. I actually do think there's going to be a run on cornerbacks, though, and that's a play I didn't give out yet that I remember. It's been talking about the draft a lot lately, but I don't think I discussed that. I think there's going to be a lot of cornerbacks drafted. I think that's one position that's pretty good, and I think that a lot of teams need the secondary help from just the better quarterback play that you've seen over the years in the NFL. What are your thoughts on corner?
Is it over 4.5? I think it was. Isn't that plus money? I do believe
it was over 4.5, and I got plus 120.
Nice. I agree. I think anything that has a B next to your position, CBs, QBs, stuff like that. I think that could be a high commodity. And you said it, defense, especially speed. In that position, especially if you're looking for speed on wide receivers, you need someone to cover those wide receivers. And I think cornerbacks, I like that play. If you got that plus 120, that's a good bet.
All right, good stuff. Is there any props that you are making that are exotic or crazy coming to the draft?
Well, I had my second bet. I had to do it because I'm 2 for 2. I'm Mr. Irrelevant. I bet offense this year at minus 120. So Mr. Irrelevant is the last pick. I'm gonna see if I can go 3 for 3 on that one. So hopefully, I can do go on that one. We have team to draft. Well, will someone miss a draft pick like a couple years ago with the Vikings? I think Noah's minus 4,000. People always, for some reason, love to bet that. Of course, we have total ACC players, Big Ten players drafted. That's always a big one. For some reason, I don't know why Big Ten always gets the more action. You would think SEC we'll get more action at it. But I don't know if maybe Big Ten people love the bet, and the SEC or in the South where there's a lot of religious people and they don't believe in sports gambling. But Big Ten, we've last time I checked, I haven't checked. I think in the last 36 hours, the most money was the top 10 or total Big Ten players. And if it just boggles my mind that it's not the SEC, because everything we turn on a TV, it's in college football, it's SEC or nothing. So that's still a head scratcher for me. And of course, first round draft trades over under 3.5. Over is minus 130.
Interesting, because I think a lot of people will be trying to trade down, but I just don't see a ton of takers trading up. It's going to happen in the 20s, I think, Raph. There's going to be some people say, "Oh, that guy fell."
Yeah,
and that's where teams will be a little bit more willing to trade up, I think. And 3.5 is a pretty good number. I don't, it's funny. I didn't think about this one as much yet because I wanted more information. Usually, I look at that one 2 days before, which we're about 2 days before right now. So I will start looking at that 3.5 to the over. I probably won't touch it. I think people are going to just want to get out of their position in the 20s. I think that's very possible. I have no lean on that one, I guess I'll say. But what you were saying earlier, a point about the I think you were talking about the corners here, or sorry, the Big Ten. That's what it was. I lost my train of thought. The Big Ten. The reason that people bet that over is they're disrespected. They want to be the SEC. The SEC's got a number like 10 or 11, and the Big Ten's sitting at 7 or 6.5. And Big Ten fans are like, "Come on, you got to be kidding me. We're going to take that over, Raph." I think that's the reason.
Well, that you see a lot of, I hate to say non-positions, but the Big Ten always you always see offensive linemen from Big Ten go quickly, tight ends from the Big Ten go quickly, even some of the running backs as of late. It's been SEC, but back in the day, it was always a Big Ten, especially in Wisconsin, running back going early. But here's another head scratcher that I've never seen since I've been posting Crazy Prep. It's who will the number 1 overall pick hug first? Everyone thanks mom. Everyone hugs mom. A lot of dad action. Dad is now the favorite at plus 110, and mom's plus 125. Giving dad some love. That'd be great on a Mother's Day a month. So hopefully dad gets a hug first.
Dad gets a hug first. That'd be tough on a Mother's Day month, actually. The favorite's the dad. I'm surprised. I guess the dad's the guy that maybe was their Pee Wee coach and brought him up here. I mean, I am my son's Pee Wee coach, assistant anyway. So, it's kind of funny thinking about that. I don't know. Is our dad starting to get hugged more? Do you have any stats on that, Raph?
No, I didn't have any stats, but it's when you do stuff like that, my mom, every time, unless someone they're always going to thank God first, or right, then mom, and then it goes down the list. So it's always in between either God or mom, God or mom, God or mom. But we had dad second. I think we opened him up at plus 150. Now he's at plus 110. Mom is plus 125. Sibling got some action at 4-1, but it was very interesting. I'm more curious to see, are any of these guys going to get traded on draft day? Mayfield, Jimmy G, Debo, who else? Metcalf. I'm more interested to see if I say no. I think it's going to be a very boring draft, and I'm glad I'll be watching NBA playoff games instead of the draft, because I don't think it's going to be a lackluster draft.
Well, I'll tell you this, the Raiders don't have a first round, and that was my questions for you. It's funny. I think Devontae Adams is going to come out there and maybe do a catwalk, and I was wondering if there was a prop bet for that. I don't know. I mean, the draft in Vegas, the Raiders trade out of it. Maybe they do something a little special for the Raiders.
Helicopter into the water, maybe. That'd be kind of.
Hey, I might tune in for that.
Yeah, I might tune in for that as well. But I mean, everyone I talk to, the traffic is going to be complete madhouse because of the NFL draft. Because of that, so I feel bad for the workers over at Bellagio, Paris. I mean, they have to go work and try to get to work the weekend of the NFL draft.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely insane. And I mean, if you think the strip's bad enough, add the NFL draft to it, and maybe it's just going to make it busier the days when they get there. Obviously, nobody drives on the strip. If you live there, you're pretty smart enough to avoid it. But sometimes you got to a little bit, or at least those back roads, Paradise and all that, are going to be packed. So that's one thing to think about. Any other plays that you made?
Not much. Like I said, I worked on some of those. Interesting. I mean, there's some ones I did kind of like. The Drake London over 10.5 draft position. I fooled around with a little bit of that. Garrett Wilson under 10.5. I think it was minus 150. I thought that was a little bit of a cheap price on that one. Those are the only ones that I thought of. I'm really Aiden Hutchinson. I didn't think he was worthy of number one. I thought he was either 2 or 3. So I bet second position, second and third. I think at second, I got plus 150. Third, I think I want to say somewhere around $3 on all that. So I'm hoping that he doesn't go number one and goes either 2 and 3. I mean, I didn't do it for no double mortgage my house, or they didn't change my bet after I made the bets, like you see on social media now these days. But they were small bets. But I would not be shocked if Hutchinson goes either second or third.
Yeah, that's what everyone's saying now, and maybe even fall this farther. What's funny about the draft is, let's just say you're a team and you had no plan of you ever even thinking this guy's going to get to you, and you already got your guys, right? And all of a sudden a big name falls. What if it's like the 10th round or the 10th pick of the draft and Aiden Hutchinson is still there? Well, he could keep falling kind of like Aaron Rodgers did.
Yep.
Because nobody planned for it. Like, well, what do we do now? Well, we got to go with our guy, right? I mean, maybe Hutchinson's bad since nobody's drafting him. That's the panic that happens, because these are timed things, and things happen that aren't, I guess, predictable, right? So that's interesting. I mean, and that's where drafting Aiden Hutchinson over 1.5 for anybody that got it when he was favored is probably smiling about their tickets now.
Yes, I think Derek Stingley Jr. could be very interesting. And a top 3 pick, he can maybe sneak up and get that 3rd overall pick. So I'm kind of curious to see that one. Again, I'll be refreshing my phone, not watching it live, because I would stab myself in the eyes if I was watching it live.
Not even to grade your own props. Come on, Raph.
Oh, that's what the computer's for. I'd be not grading my props. I'll be making prop bets. I still got to finish Stranger 4, Season 4, Stranger Things. I got Elon Musk prop bets coming. I got other stuff I got to do to watch the draft.
Yeah, that's very true. And Stranger Things is coming out at the end of May. I just saw that trailer. It looks.
Did you see my prop bets I sent you?
Yeah, you did send them to me. I didn't look at them. It was a bunch of people that I forgot their names, if they're dead or alive yet. And I'm like, I seriously forgot their names, Raph. I don't know. So I didn't get to Google it.
I had to go back and watch a couple just because it's been so long because of COVID. Yeah. They said they didn't film, so it was kind of interesting. Now, not this spoiler, I'm sure, but they're only doing one more season. Season 5 is the last, so I would not be shocked if we see a really, really big cliffhanger for 4, just because next year's the last one.
Well, I'm sure, man. Well, hey, they hyped it up, so we'll see if it lives up to its luster more than the NFL draft will for Mr. Raphael Esparza. Raph. Awesome stuff, man. Where could our listeners and viewers get your great information?
You can get me over at DocSports.com. You can find all my crazy prop bets over at MyBookie. You can follow me on Twitter at VSI.Sports and on Instagram at Raphael Esparza.
Awesome. Make sure you guys check out Raphael, check out MyBookie, check out Doc Sports. Appreciate it, Raph. We'll be talking.
Take it easy.